don't care who it is, boy. You hit him with 8-ounce gloves, oh, they're gonna do a pretty little dance.
17 weight classes, with 4 belts per division. Yet still, flourishing throughout the ranks, it's as difficult as ever to become one of boxing's world champions.
And the new WBO Junior Lightweight Champion of the World, Heavyweight Champion of the World!
And still, whilst attention revolves around the heavyweights, the toughest of them all remains the stacked-out welterweight division, dominated by boxing's pound-for-pound kings.
Oh, Sean Porter caught him!
And where Keith Thurman's 147-pound journey restarted in January, after a 2-year layoff, his latest, toughest opponent has spent a decade in amongst the division's very best.
Manny Pacquiao, you're always expecting him to come flying out there and throwing something huge.
Even now, at 41 years of age, he enters the bout this weekend as odds-on favorite. However, here we look at 5 special moments from Thurman's career that show exactly why, at one time in his career, he was the hottest, most dangerous prospect around.
Oh, the left uppercut jacking the jaw of Diaz!
And why, come July 20th, boxing fans are in for a treat.
I belong in the ring with the best welterweights in the world.
Please click thumbs up, subscribe, and press the bell button if you're new to the channel.
And still!
Welcome to a Motivedia presentation. First up, 6 years ago, a night where Thurman made a huge statement against sturdy Mexican fighter Jesus Soto Karass.
Just like last time, like I promised, man, the motto is KOs for life. Nicknames one time for a reason, not a short season. You're gonna see it time after time after time after time.
Now 22-0 with 19 knockouts, the boxing world was slowly becoming more and more familiar with the Florida fighter.
About to go down!
And co-featuring the Maidana versus Broner fight, the first defense of his interim title made for the most high-profile bout of his career. Karass, coming off a late knockout win against Andre Berto, was expected to be Thurman's toughest opponent to date. And early on, it looked to be ringing true.
Oh, Soto Karass comes back and you underestimate Soto Karass in your own peril!
Though, grinding through the rounds, the American began to dominate as his power shone through.
And down goes Soto Karass!
Down in the 5th and over by 9, Thurman made the most of his time in the limelight.
One-time Thurman remains unbeaten!
Increasingly so by voicing his intentions to take on the winner of the main event, Marcos Maidana.
Maidana was right there. He said, let's go. So hopefully that is something that can be very likely next year.
Another year on and 2 fights later, it was another huge night for Thurman to showcase his ability.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2 undefeated fighters. Leonard Bundu, one-time Thurman.
Retiring 2-time world champion Julio Diaz earlier in the year,
Oh, body shot there by Thurman.
he now staged another co-feature on the Khan Alexander undercard at the MGM. Cue unbeaten Italian Leonard Bundu. Taking a different approach, much like Joshua in the Parker fight, Thurman found his range and found homage in his own boxing ability. He picked apart and comfortably outpointed Bundu, who fought an aggressively front-footed fight.
Because I felt like he's the young guy who wants to make a statement.
It was just the second occasion in 5 years that Thurman had failed to put his opponent away.
I knew that there was a high possibility of 12 rounds. We dropped him early. Maybe I could have forced the knockout, but we're 26 years old and we're learning, man.
Afterwards, the Italian claimed that having been in the ring with Thurman, he favored him to beat rival American Errol Spence, should the two come together.
I didn't expect him to move around so much. He surprised me in that sense.
Thurman, on the other hand, now attempted to leapfrog Maidana by putting pressure on Floyd Mayweather Jr., who had beaten the Argentinian in their rematch 3 months prior.
I'm a young, strong champion, Floyd. Come get it. I'm undefeated like you, baby. Come take my O, baby. Come take my O. I'm ready.
Next, 3 months later, after no contact from Floyd, Thurman chose to put himself against another of Money May's former opponents. Another front-footed fighter that would either draw a slugfest or encourage Thurman to box. 31-year-old Robert the Ghost Guerrero, a Mexican-American that, despite looking out of his depth against the self-proclaimed TBE a year earlier, still entered the Thurman bout as a sturdy and tough world-level opponent.
He looks at his time of the ring as every fight from here on in is the biggest fight of his career.
And where Thurman avoided danger in his last fight, he fought fire with fire this time around.
Right hand, right on from Thurman.
Landing the heavier, cleaner shots, he managed to drop Guerrero in the 9th with a looping right uppercut. Bloodied and bruised, he showed his heart by lasting the duration, but it was a lopsided victory for one time.
Still undefeated, Keith one-time Thurman!
You know, he was just picking and poking and moving, and you know, he was on his game though. He was on his game, he was on point, he did what he had to do, and you know, that's why I had to switch it up and start putting the pressure.
3 years ago, after rescheduling due to injury, Thurman once again stepped up to the biggest test of his career.
Everybody has power. Not everybody has this kind of power. You gotta know the difference between dynamite and C4.
With only one blemish on his record, from a majority loss to Kell Brook, in came the strong, bullish American, Shawn Porter.
This is the most beautiful moment of my professional career. And here I am, about to compete with somebody I grew up with.
Now 26-0, and making a huge impact in the welterweight division, Thurman had yet another opportunity to make a statement.
It's going to be here, the wire's going to be here. Tap it up, it's going to work.
And in a clash of styles that guaranteed drama from the offset, both fighters indeed brought their A-game.
Thurman, known for his speed, his power, but he's not a one-trick pony. He can also box as he caught Porter with the right uppercut.
In a true all-action fight of the year display, both men had spells of success and adversity.
Heavy exchange on. Porter's knee buckled after that left, and the veteran holds on immediately.
Though arguably scoring the more clean, damaging shots, Thurman took the fight by 115 to 113 on all 3 scorecards.
Still, WBA welterweight champion of the world.
Last off, 7 months later in early 2017, Thurman continued his ongoing trend, eyeing up another unbeaten, dangerous opponent, Danny Swift Garcia.
Hey, Philly, hold up, Philly. If y'all want to see me whip this guy's ass, make some noise.
And stepping into the ring after his victory over Samuel Vargas, he set the tone.
Prove it, baby. You don't want to miss this much.
Despite the Philly fighter's untouched 33-fight record, Thurman entered as a slight favorite at Barclays Center.
Will that play a factor as the bell goes to begin round 1?
He started the faster two, landing some offensive flurries, forcing Garcia to pick his shots on the back foot.
Garcia doubled over.
However, with Garcia pushing back in the middle rounds, using his slight size advantage, the scoring drew closer late on. Appearing to cool down somewhat in the late rounds, Thurman seemed to have a clear idea that he was leading on the scorecards. Though, much closer than anticipated, he won by split decision to become a unified welterweight world champion.
Keith Thurman!
5 nights that led Keith one-time Thurman to the division's ultimate prize. Though just 2 months after his unifying, he faced surgery on his right elbow, slumping into a 2-year stint of inactivity. Tough times to face for any fighter on the planet, yet the Florida fighter stayed faithful in his return.
In boxing, not everybody wants to see you succeed. Some people want to see you fail. But for me, I'm living a dream, and you can't take that away from me.
And after vacating his belts earlier in the year, he vows on his return to once again unify the most stacked division in boxing. So here, with his January return looking less than spectacular, could be a crucial make or break point in his story. And his latest challenge, against an 8-weight world champion who refuses to give up, will put the ultimate spin on his career.
I belong in the ring with the best welterweights in the world, and to me, Manny Pacquiao is a legend in the sport, but he is not the best welterweight in the world today.
Hang on to your seats, sporting fans. The Ultimate Snail Racing Championship is coming soon. The best snails in the series started the championship battle last week. It's a best 2 out of 3 marathon competition, a total of 78 grueling miles, slithered at speeds of up to 0.029 miles per hour. The time it will take for the races, cool down in between heats, and the procession to the awards platform is almost incalculably long. The only thing we can be sure of, it's probably going to happen faster than a unification fight in the heavyweight division. Whatever the result, you can be sure of a Motivedia presentation.